815% in 30 days. What's really behind TRWA RWA altcoin? Did you know that an altcoin has risen by over 800% in just 30 days? But hardly anyone knows about it yet. Many are searching for the next 10x coin, but almost everyone is overlooking TRWA. In this video, I'll show you why this RWA altcoin truly has potential with real assets like gold, real estate, and government bonds. And make sure to watch until the end, because what you'll learn there could change your perspective on stablecoins forever. Welcome to 10x by Marius, your channel for honest, data-driven altcoin analysis. What if the next big crypto trend isn't AI, isn't NFTs, but RWAs, real-world assets, real assets on the blockchain? One altcoin has risen by 800% in 30 days, and that's not due to hype, but to fundamentals. The coin is called TRWA, and today we're going to take a close look at it and analyze it in detail. But first, what makes TRWA or TRWA so special? TRWA is an altcoin from the RWA sector. This means that real tangible assets like gold, real estate, oil, and government bonds are digitally represented, in other words, tokenized. Instead of empty promises, every dollar in this system is backed by a real asset. So the platform not only provides security but also a return, which is secured by its own stablecoin called USD. This is pegged one-to-one to the US dollar, but there are additional returns generated through real investments. Now you're probably wondering, how does all of this actually work technically? First of all, TRWA runs on Ethereum. That means, of course, proof of stake, low energy consumption, and high security. What's special is that the assets are bundled in multi-asset vaults with a maximum weighting of 33% per asset. And that, of course, means there's no concentration risk like with Ondo or Maker. Additionally, artificial intelligence comes into play. It manages the portfolio with risk management focused on content value at risk. In short, less drawdown, more stability. But now you're probably first wondering, what problem is actually being solved here? Well, most stablecoins are either centralized, like USDT for example, or rather inefficient and uncollateralized, like DAI. TRWA brings real-world assets onto the chain, making them usable for DeFi. And once again, what's special? All of this is done under strict conditions, Sharia compliant, auditable, and licensed according to the regulations of the ADGM from Abu Dhabi. So you want real assets, smart tokenomics, and a clear vision? Then take a closer look at TRWA now before the whole market does. Before we get started together again, grab yourself a coffee, leave a like for me, and if you want to support my work, become a 10x supporter on YouTube. You'll find the link for that in the video description. Thanks for your support. But a quick disclaimer. My channel is not financial advice, it's purely for informational purposes. As always, let's move on to the market capitalization. TRWA currently has a market cap of 139 million. So that's in the mid or rather low cap range, which means there's still a lot of room for growth. For comparison, the overall market is so large that TRWA still holds a very small market share, basically almost nothing. In other words, the potential is of course enormous. If the project manages to get even a small piece of the RWA pie, it could really take off. So, a strong 8 here. Next, circulating supply. 70% of all tokens are already in circulation. That's very good, because it reduces the risk of sudden unlocks. In this area, it's extremely strong, and only 30% are still being held back, for example for the team or for partnerships. That's a healthy mix of fairness, but of course also securing the future. So in this area, they're very well positioned. And by the way, if you want to buy altcoins like TRWA, check out my favorite exchange. I've also linked my tutorial there, everything is in the pinned comment, and if you sign up, you'll even get a bonus. All the info, as I said, is in the pinned comment. Here, a strong 7. So what does the roadmap look like now? The roadmap is divided into 4 phases with clear milestones. Phase 1 is the launch of THUSD and the Born Walls. So that's already checked off because it's already been completed. Phase 2, liquidity engine, AI optimized, it's running but not yet fully completed. Phase 3, cross-chain and governance, and Phase 4, institutional integration and Shira certification. It's realistic, transparent, and ambitious. Here, a strong 8. Next, what is the team? Who is the team? How strong is the team? Led by Said-i Fahim, a well-known figure in the Middle East. Former manager at TACA Group, so there's a deep connection to energy, real estate, and finance. supported by an experienced team of back-end developers and compliance professionals. So you can already see where the focus ultimately lies, on being compliant. This isn't your typical crypto Twitter team, these are real business professionals. A strong 7 here. Next, what about the narrative? RWA, meaning real-world assets, is the narrative for 2025. For example, BlackRock is betting on Ondo. And here the tokenization of real assets is made possible. Gold, oil, real estate combined with DeFi. TRWA isn't just the first, but the first to really focus on avoiding concentration risk and aiming for Sharia compliance. That's highly relevant in the long term and extremely timely. A strong 9. Next question, what problem are they actually solving? TRWA solves several problems at once. First, the volatility of classic stablecoins, then inefficiency, unsecured models, which is of course also extremely interesting, and the concentration risk with single asset RWA platforms. That's what they ultimately want to eliminate as well. Instead, as mentioned, real yield and AI risk management. They have quite a few exciting features there. That's why it's also a strong 9 in this area. Then, energy efficiency, as already mentioned. TRWA runs on Ethereum. Proof of stake means low energy consumption, no mining, minimal environmental impact, and on top of that, the potential for layer 2 integration. So in this area, they are strongly positioned. 8. Next, capital investors. They haven't had any traditional VC rounds. Instead, they've formed strong partnerships. Hitachi Energy, Micropolis Robotics, Unlimited Vision, and the CEO's network naturally bring in significant capital. Not hype money, but strategic growth. That's why, in this area, it's a solid 6. Next, let's look at competitiveness. Ondo Finance, DAI, Centrifuge. There are strong players, but TRWA offers something different. Multi-chain assets, Sharia compliance, AI-powered, and chain hedge FAR. So it's extremely exciting, and they've also had an extremely strong performance in the past. By the way, if you want to know who the competitors are or want to see more altcoins, check out the video description. There's my playlist, the 10x universe, and subscribe to the channel because next weekend I have 2 more altcoins that are extremely interesting. 2 analyses for you. So subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, and then let's go. A strong 8 in this area. Yes, next point, marketing. What about marketing? Active on X, many community activities and partnerships are made public. Not a viral breakthrough yet, but professional communication. 7. So how simple is the idea? Well, RWAs, stablecoins, and yield are easy to explain, well thought out, and well implemented. They have an AI component and no technical overload. So in that regard, they're strongly positioned. By the way, did I explain this altcoin to you properly at the beginning? Did you understand it right away? Let me know in the comments. Here, a strong 8. Next point, long-term vision again. How does that look? A global hedge fund, vaults for different asset classes, access for both institutional and retail investors, integration with Curve, Uniswap, and others. Strong focus on regulatory compliance. If that's not future-proof, what is? Strong 9. So what about the token supply? A maximum of 100 billion tokens, no inflation risk, and of course, no mining. A fixed supply points to a deflationary character over time. Here, a strong 8. Next point, fully improved market capitalization again, $199 million US market cap, 139 million ratio of 1.43. That's healthy and strong. So here as well, a 10. Next, liquidity. How liquid are they actually? 24-hour volume is around 10 million. That gives a ratio of 0.077, so extremely liquid, 10. Next, how was the token distribution at the beginning? 70% are already in circulation, no centralization risk, 30% remain, which are, for example, allocated to the team. 7 in this area, solid but not perfect. Next point, top coin holders. What does it look like there? No wallet is known to hold over 10%, strong DeFi integration, high retail activity, healthy distribution according to on-chain data. Here in this area, a solid 6. Next point, use and utility. Ah yes, the token offers governance, meaning voting rights, staking, revenue sharing, and TUSD. TUSD are used for yield on stablecoins, for example. They also offer yields with AI optimization and bonds with tokenized maturities. In this regard, the token is very important, very stable, and has many use cases. 9. Next, community. Active on Telegram, active on X, strong integration and updates, good sentiment according to analysis, so very well positioned. Are you already a holder with us? Do you already know TRWA? Are you a fan of TRWA? Write it in the comments. A strong 8 here. So, what events are coming up this year? STH USD Walls Q4 2025, a bar marketplace, then new licenses, Sharia certification, further integration of exciting features. So they are very well positioned here. 9. Honestly, I think most people don't have TRWA on their radar yet. I myself didn't have it on my radar before either, but maybe that's exactly the opportunity. So what have we seen here? TRWA has a real use case: tokenization of real-world assets, gold, real estate, oil, government bonds. It's not just a hype narrative, but actually has a functioning stablecoin and real yield. That's something strong. According to my Zenix ranking, TRWA scores over 80%, which is of course far above the average of most coins. So it's already comparable to top altcoins that have actually been on the market longer and may have already reached the mainstream. What are the top facts from the analysis now? It's a mid to low cap altcoin with a low market cap, so I'd say it has high potential. Solid tokenomics, 70% already in circulation, strong partners, hardly any competition, AI management, Sharia compliant. In other words, a unique selling point. And here's the thing, I see TRWA as an early stage project with structural potential. It's not a meme coin, not a speculative coin, but could be a building block for institutional DeFi. If you want to dive even deeper or want to know whether I might already have it in my portfolio, or if you want access to the full 10x ranking list, then here's a bit of self-promotion for my 10x elite community, the smartest community out there. All the information is in the video description, even with a tutorial, so everything you need. Do you know what actually fascinates me the most about TRWA? Not the price increase, not even the partnerships, but rather what becomes possible when the market realizes what's being built here. Let's first dive into the price scenarios now. Let's start with the bear scenario, as always. If real-world assets only gain traction slowly, maybe due to regulation, or if regulation actually blocks progress and the market moves sideways, then prices below 2 cents might become realistic, for example after a period of consolidation without any major hype. Now let's move on to the normal scenario. If the market grows organically, especially with more capital flowing into RWA's real-world assets, TRWA could carve out its own path and go further than before. In that case, we're talking about a price that could really increase massively again. Here we would already be seeing price targets. Here we would be looking at price targets of 5 or 10 cents. Not explosive, but healthy growth with potential. Next, let's move on to the optimistic scenario, because now it gets interesting. Imagine if THUSD establishes itself as a DeFi stablecoin. The Sharia certification arrives, institutions get involved, and above all the narratives, AI and ultimately RWA, reach the masses. Then 20 to 50 cents become theoretically and mathematically possible. And now we come to the very optimistic scenario. And what if TRWA becomes the leading protocol for tokenizing assets, especially in the pre-market sector? What if it becomes the BlackRock on-chain, truly with billions in real-world assets under its control? Then we're talking about prices beyond the $1 mark. $1.5, maybe $2 could then become theoretically and mathematically possible in a bull market. Now, Vision 2030. What if we think long-term? By 2030, RWA could become the backbone of the next crypto cycle. If Taiwan gets on board here and the coin really continues to build out the financial structure, in other words, the infrastructure for the new financial world, then price targets of $5 to $7 would already be possible. But be careful, this is not financial advice, these are just mathematical calculations. Now the question is, what does my chart analysis show? Yes, welcome to my chart analysis. First of all, just for your information, as I said, I'm not a day trader. I take a more long-term view, but I still do chart analysis to find certain entry or exit points. Here you can already see that in the end it pumped massively. From here to up there, really over 10 times. That's a massive increase. That's why you have to be extremely careful at the moment. Basically, I use the chart here on TradingView and the money flow indicator, and I check whether we're in the overbought or oversold area. Here we can see that we're in a massively overbought area because the pump was extreme. We're right at the top here, which is extremely suboptimal. What would I recommend here? Definitely, first of all, wait and see. We did have a strong correction just now, but as I said, after such a massive surge, I would definitely wait before entering. I'll definitely keep you updated on this if you want. In the Zenix Elite, I regularly share information anyway, like which buy zones I have for altcoins, which sell zones, or even, let's say, where I'm simply just waiting. In any case, if you're generally interested in trading or leverage trading, there's an exchange called Bitunix that I use. I've linked all the information in my pinned comment. You just have to expand it. So now you have all the information about Tharwa, and here comes the next altcoin that might surprise you as well. Why BlackRock is investing in Ondo and why Ondo might be so strong, maybe even better than Tharwa. All of that in this complete analysis. If you don't want to miss any altcoins, subscribe to the channel below and turn on the notification bell. Alright, see you in a bit.